Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 16 of your favorite podcast. My favorite podcast, the only one on the internet doing it about video games. You guys ready for this?
Ready.
You guys ready? This is our 16th time. We're gonna nail it.
Focused, baby.
Arcade Parlor.
I said I was focused and I wasn't ready. I interrupted it. All right, great start.
You literally talked right through it. Literally talked right through it.
Might be our best one yet, though. Just saying. Like, we're not there, but we're on our way.
Craig, you hear that? Can you edit it a little bit when you get there, Craig? Please, thank you. Good old Craig. He's always got our back there.
Craig always comes in with muffins and fresh coffee. Like, one of the best producers out there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. He fixes it all. He fixes everything that happens here. And then he's a busy guy. He's a busy guy.
You know what I'm most excited about? That Ashley is alive after 8 straight days of streaming. After 2 days of streaming, I'm like, there's no way she's making it for this episode. There's no way when I found out about it. But here she is, you know, looking spry. How you doing, Ashley?
I 8 straight nights of streaming. Listen, I have a full-time job on top of streaming. So like I get the full-time streamers who do it all the time and I commend them big time. But it was 8 straight nights, 9 p.m., like usually till about 2 a.m. Our dear David Pancho Taco was on vacation for like 9 days. So I was just like, I'm just going to stream every night that you're gone. Why not? And by the first 7 nights, I was golden. I was like ready to go. And then night 8, I was like, how am I going to do this tonight? But I did.
This is your first online appearance since that, right?
It is actually. I have not. This is my first time being on camera on Twitch since the 8 nights of Ashley Miss. And then I took 3 days off and feeling good, baby. Ready to go. Awesome.
Well, I guess that's kind of an intro. Ashley, welcome aboard. Happy to have you here.
Yo, thanks, my friend. Good to be here.
And Pops, good to have you here as well.
I'm excited. It's the best time of year for video games. Like when you're a kid, you know you're getting new ones. When you're adult, it's dark out. And like even kids and adult, the fact that it's dark at 6 o'clock, when it's dark outside, I can't play outside. It's dangerous. I need to go to my room and save the princess, or maybe play Tetris or play some Wario. Like it's like the world gives you an excuse to not be outside and do things or have friends and just sit in your room and play some Sega Genesis. It's awesome, man. I love this time of year.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's that time. It's nice too, because at this time of year with my kids, be like, you know, during the summer they're like, oh no, it's light out. I can't go to bed yet. Now it's like, no, it's dark. Time for bed. It's like 7 o'clock or something like that. Every once in a while, they can't argue. They don't have the concept of time yet.
Have you ever, as a parent, changed the clock just to like, you know what? Enough's enough. It's 9. It's your bedtime, and it's only like 5:45.
We have not done that yet. We have not pulled that move. We have not pulled that one. Anyway, welcome in, Pops. Good to have you here. And me, of course, I'm your host, David Pancho Taco, of course. It's actually gotten cold finally. Like what I consider cold. It's actually cold. Like the other day, I mean, today it's not too bad. 42. That's not too bad. But like when I came back, I was on vacation, as we talked about a little bit ago. I came back from South Carolina, down in the South, which it wasn't super warm down there. It's like maybe in the low 50s on a good day. I came back up here to Michigan and it was like 26 degrees, a high of 26 that day. And it was cold. So I would say winter has finally hit around me.
I would say winter has finally hit in Florida. I had one day in the last 6 months, which was a couple of days ago, that I got to open my windows because it was like 68 degrees. And then it swiftly went right back to the mid 80s and we're still there, baby.
The humidity at least changes, right? During this time of year, is it at least less humid for you?
It's a little less. I go on walks a lot at night, and it's still so stinking humid here. Like really, I think especially being on Twitch, like you interact with so many people like from so many different areas, and I hear everyone talking about the snow and how cold it is and stuff like that, and I'm just like, dude, I could go in the pool right now and have no problem.
I feel like I'm rocking the in between. It's like 60, but if you're out in the sun, it gets a little bit warmer, so I can go out with a t-shirt. It's kind of that point where if you start your walk, you want your hoodie on, but by the time you're coming back to the house, you're like, I regret bringing the hoodie. So we're like getting that in between, but anything's nicer than like it's late August or August and September is just miserable here. And just the fact that we're over it, we're kind of in like, for you Northeasterners, like it's October weather where I live right now, and it's fantastic. The leaves are changing, no humidity. It is my favorite time of year. It is freezing in our house, our poor dogs, but like it's like free air conditioning. It's awesome. We love it.
Exactly. The free air conditioning is the best part. You get to shut off the AC.
Oh, it's so good. And anytime I hear the heat
the electric bill is great and everything. Yes. Yeah, it's a good time of year.
Really is. It really is. And it just as I mentioned it's video game weather, and I love it. It feels right.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thanksgiving. We just had Thanksgiving, guys. How was your Thanksgiving, by the way?
I'll go. I had a great Thanksgiving. I took the dogs. My mom, my parents sold the family house like a year ago, so they bought a beach condo. That's like everyone's dream in the world. So they live right on the sand. Their buildings are on the sand. So I went out to the beach, took the dogs over there, and had a nice big meal with the family. I came back. It was during the 8 nights of streaming. So I came back home. I changed my clothes, threw a little makeup on, and got on stream.
That's insanity. How are you
I know.
After Thanksgiving?
After eating all that food, after a Thanksgiving dinner.
My mom likes to watch the parade, like the whole family. Like that's like our tradition. We all get up early. We like to watch the parade and laugh. And so my brother picked me up at like a very early hour to get over to my mom's, and I had to wake up even earlier than that because I had to cook. And I had streamed the night before until 2:00 in the morning. So you sleep a couple hours. I went, I ate, I did my thing, and I was right back on stream. You do what you got to do. It was fun, honestly. And it's my third Thanksgiving in a row that I streamed, and I was very shocked. Usually it's so dead on Twitch on Thanksgiving, but I was very surprised. Like a lot of people were like, all right, I'm done with my family stuff. I got nothing to do. So I had all the Thanksgiving stragglers kind of hanging out that night. It was very fun. We had a good time.
That is awesome. But I will make you this promise. If you ever see me streaming on Thanksgiving, call the authorities. I am not doing it under my own will. Like the older I get, like it shifts from Christmas to Thanksgiving, because it's just I actually enjoy cooking, and I had the turkey and everything, and it was a ton of fun, and it's just a day of relaxing, spending time with family. I was supposed to have a friend come over. It was supposed to be like a Friendsgiving too, but unfortunately he got sick. But that's okay. What was awesome is I did it right this year. I didn't overdo it because I found out the friend was sick. I made just enough food that by the time like leftovers last a couple of days, by the third day of leftovers, everything was gone. It is the first time like I didn't overdo it and do anything crazy. What I did made was delicious, and it was awesome. So that worked out well, and we spent the whole day. It might be a new tradition. If it's up to me, it's a new tradition, but I'm not in charge. I'm married. So we woke up, turned on the Disney Channel, and just watched Disney movies we haven't seen in a long time, like Alice in Wonderland, Cinderella, Great Mouse Detective, Snow White. And like we just went through, instead of doing like, we did do Beauty and the Beast eventually, you know, a couple of the beverages got to me, and I have to watch Beauty and the Beast. But we watched the ones that you wouldn't normally think, I'm going to put this on. But we also watched Toy Story again. And I think Toy Story, for some reason, fits Thanksgiving. Like, everyone kind of had the movies on in the background. But then when Toy Story came on, for some reason, we all stopped and went and, like, rewatched that movie. And I forgot how amazing and fun that movie is. So I hope Toy Story becomes like a tradition on Thanksgiving. Because I was trying to figure out a movie to watch. Like, what do we do on Thanksgiving? What's a Thanksgiving Day movie? and I feel like Toy Story for some reason just fits.
I hadn't seen Toy Story I can't tell you the last time I'd seen it. And then one day I came in and my wife had it on for our daughter or something like that. And I was looking at this. I was like, this used to look so good. Like it's like crazy how far they've come with the animation and stuff like that. Like now it's like Uncanny Valley seeing like Sid walking around. I mean Sid had been Uncanny Valley since day one. Let's get real. What a weird looking kid, but
oh man,
it's weird. It's weird now.
That was like the first. Like, that was such an era. When did that come out? Like the 90s, where special effects and graphics are just started like ramping up. Because I know they had the Super Nintendo game that had the sweet graphics. The Sega game had the sweet graphics.
Oh, yeah. I love that game. I was just going to mention that.
That was such a cool era where, like, going to the theater and seeing games like that were... I'm trying to think of, like, what's something similar where you watch a movie, it's like, I have not seen anything like that ever. Like, I know people thought Avatar was a huge step forward when that came out. I've never seen that movie, but like, have we had anything recently like that where, because even the new console generations, the frame rate's getting better, like the load times are getting better, but I am hard pressed to see a huge difference between the 360 and the Xbox X. And like, I'm not a visual snob, so that's on me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I saw the difference between, you know, cartoon movies and Toy Story back in the day. Like it was such a huge jump forward. And like, are we just plateauing, or like, what's going to be the next big, like, how did they do that thing?
So, I mean, I have a theory, and I think a lot of people kind of theorize it too, is due to like the pandemic, you know, when a lot of work on and in progress and certain things kind of slowed down. And due to that, I think they ended up dragging on console generations longer than they typically would have.
Sure.
So we held on to like the PS4 and the Xbox One for far longer than I believe any other generation would have. So we had a lot of games that were like, oh, it's going to be available on PS5, but it's also on PS4. And it's the same game regardless. Maybe the frame rate's a little bit better, but we had to develop it so it can be a broad range and play on all these consoles. So I mean, I think that's a reason for it. And, you know, I feel like we're just, even now, still games are releasing this on both gens. And it's like, let's stop. Let's stop, please. The other thing, too, is like, I mean, I think VR has potential to be there to the next thing. But like, who's buying VR? I don't know a single person who owns VR. In real life. Do you guys know anybody who owns a VR headset or like console in real life? I've never met somebody. There's people like, you know, in Discord servers and Twitch that have said it, but nobody owns it still.
How?
And like, if nobody owns it, nobody's developing something like groundbreaking or anything.
What they need to develop, first of all, what game has there been that made anyone want to go buy I gotta spend the money to go buy a VR? There's been nothing. But what I think about, and maybe it exists and I don't know, but as a streamer, how am I supposed to read my chat if I'm playing VR? I have no way.
There's an answer to that, and I've seen it, and it's cool. It is cool. There is like this Iron Man type thing that you can buy where you just like go like this with your hand. And like in your VR, the chat just like pops out of your hand, and you can like read the chat and stuff. I've seen somebody
like
do that. I was like,
of your chat.
That's cool. It's like it's like a hologram for yourself.
Wow.
And you can read the chat, just like putting your hand out. It's I don't know. It's like Iron Man. I don't know, something like that. And it's actually kind of cool. It's like I'd almost want to try it just for that.
How cool would a mod be with like Twitch integration, where the people there chatting in Twitch don't have to, but they can go in and make like a character of themselves, and you could literally just go into it. It's a chat room for Twitch. But yeah, like Poncho, you could design your character to look exactly like the failed Sonic with the terrible eyes and like, oh. And so whenever you type in Twitch, your little Sonic character says that out loud, and it's like interactive VR. But like, I don't think I've ever watched a VR stream. For me, I think we discussed this a little bit, but like VR is like the Wii. Like if you make a VR bowling game, I'm in. You make a VR rail shooter, I think that would be a ton of fun. Like House of the Dead and made for VR. It would be incredible.
Yep.
But Zelda in VR, it's games that don't require precision gameplay, but I think those could be a ton of fun. I really do want to play the Resident Evil game in VR solely to scare myself.
Sure.
But I know the gameplay would be worse than outside. So maybe like a Resident Evil like experience, like a haunted house experience, I think would be fine. Mm-hmm. It would be a fun experience more than a challenging game. But I would love a rail shooter. I would be like, that would be incredible. And Wii bowling. I think of games that were fun on the Wii could be elevated for VR.
From what I understand, and I don't know, so somebody can send us a correction in email or something like that, but I think the Resident Evil VRs are still played with a normal controller. You're just first person, if you will. I don't think you're doing the whole, swinging your arms around, reloading stuff like that. So I think that kind of immersion, I don't think it's worth the price of VR, but I kind of can connect more with that. I think
it would be tough, and this is. Once again, my ignorance is probably showing, but like the precision to take a modern game like Resident Evil, where you have to like, we're so used to video games, but it's kind of nuts to think about how many little clicks we're doing with our thumbs are controlling our eyes, and this is controlling our feet, this is controlling this is like, we're doing a ton, and then to move that while also having, and like, it just, Resident Evil might be too complicated for VR, but a Resident Evil like experience where basically you can move and open doors and run. I think that could be, or pick up keys and things like that could be a ton of fun. But then you would lose a lot of what makes Resident Evil games fun. But like, I think you could find a way. But I want to get into VR. It's just really expensive for a rail shooter machine that I want to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've never experienced VR. The most I experienced at VR is I went to the North America International Auto Show one time. And they had a VR experience where you sit in a car and you get to like kind of VR what that car would be like. It's almost like a concept car or something like that. And it was kind of cool. It was super janky. Like, it clearly wasn't like, a PSVR game or something. It was clearly somebody had made, I don't know, something like some Android game type thing. And you just wore like a headset. And it was kind of cool, I guess. But then I started thinking about how many other people's gross foreheads have been on this thing probably in the past like 2 days of the show. And I was like, all right, I think I'm done here.
Makes you stronger. It's all right.
Part of the problem could just be my age too, because I grew up with the video game TV show Nick Arcade, where they're in the video game and they're running and they're jumping and they're grabbing the 3 bananas and they're going through and you're yelling at them because they're not doing what you like. This should be easy. Grab it. And that's what I assume VR would be, running around and like doing that stuff. And that is not the case. You were very much so like sitting in place. And I know they have those machines you can kind of like it's like a baby stroller where they strap your waist in and you can run in place and stuff.
Oh, I've seen those.
That would be super cool. I'm all about that. Like, if you could make that experience where my body is the controller, that's what, for me, maybe I have my thought of what VR is like the Star Trek, what's that room, the holodeck? You know what? I'm in VR when they make the Star Trek holodeck real. Until then,
there you go.
I'll be playing my Nintendo Wii.
I just looked up the price of a PSVR 2.
Oh, geez.
So you have a base PlayStation 5, which costs $499.99. That's how much the PS5 costs. If you want the VR 2, it's an extra $550. It costs more than the PlayStation 5 itself.
Not for me.
Like,
yeah, I was gonna say, you ain't told me, babe.
That's my yearly food budget. Get out of here. I gotta eat.
Yeah, wow. It's such a high price for, and I know the reason why we're not getting such high development on VR like PSVR 2 is because the adoption rate is low.
Right.
But it's like it's such a high price, and there's nothing on there that I'm like, I gotta get that VR. I gotta get that VR 2 because I gotta play Beat Saber. I mean, Beat Saber looks cool. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't look. I don't even know if I don't know if it's on PSVR, to be honest, or if it's just like on
$1,000
Valve.
cool.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that gets me about, and I'm still going to rant about VR for a second here. VR, the thing that also gets me is there are exclusives. They don't just have VR. There's games that are only on the HTC Vive. There's games that are only on whatever the Meta, whatever Facebook came out with. And you can only, in order to play certain games, you have to get, like, they don't share the same game store or anything. Like, I understand PlayStation VR, that's its own thing, but the ones that just run exclusively on computer, they should all interface and not have these exclusives. Like, it's
makes
crazy.
No sense. How many? Do you know anyone that has one? Never mind multiple VR systems. Like someone's gotta make some decisions here if they want to make any money. But it does leave open though. Like if somebody really made something incredible that like made people say, I have to play this. Like there's no way I can live my life in a happy way without playing this game. You know. That maybe then people would buy it and then, you know, things happen, prices go down. But right now there's just nothing.
How is Nintendo going to trick old people into buying a VR headset? That's all I can think of now. They're going to let Sony do all the work, and then they're going to let the technology be there. They're going to do this $100 VR headset that can teleport grandma directly into any craft shop around the world. And they'll be like, I gotta get crafting 101 on the Nintendo VR. Did you see those miniature figurines? You can interact with them while in your rocking chair. It's gonna be incredible. That was my joke.
I'm just trying to think of, you know, like in what do you call them, like nursing homes and stuff. Like they had the Nintendo Wii. Could you imagine putting the elderly who didn't grow up with like all this technology, just putting them into VR today?
What's the hook?
Oh, what is it? Oh, get me out! Just like shaking and screaming, like, get me out of here!
It has to be craft stores with a small TV playing I Love Lucy. It's the only way they'll feel safe. I'm telling you.
It's just those theaters that you see in VR. They're just a theater screen inside the thing of I Love Lucy on repeat.
Oh my god! You know what? That's the experience.
Oh my god!
The VR system Nintendo's gonna make those movies that are so old that you don't even have to pay fees. The copyright is done, and it's just like the talkies from back in the 20s or something. It's gonna get all the old people, and we're all gonna have Nintendo VR headsets.
Jeez. Yeah, I've thought about that. Like, what when we're old and our kids all throw us into a nursing home or whatever, or assisted living, I think we're gonna have a good time. I think we're gonna have a good time in there. We're just gonna say, give us the PlayStation 17. Give us you know, whatever. I don't know, The Last of Us Part 19, and let me just kill some zombies and experience the story that they want me to play. Give me God of War 37.
We're gonna thrive,
and I'll be happy. I'll be happy as can be sitting there. I probably couldn't even remember what the last line of dialogue was, but I'll be having a good time just hitting buttons and and killing things.
We are absolutely going to thrive in there. I know I am. I am going to thrive. I look forward to the day where I don't have to worry about my food, cleaning up. It's all my only focus. Metal Gear Solid 77. Pachinko machine.
Yes. Man, I can't wait to get old. I can't wait to get old. The lack of responsibility, the lack of caring. It's going to be awesome.
The best, or not advice, but like, my father-in-law is like, getting old, everyone says it's terrible. It's a ton of fun. You stop worrying about what other people think. Like, you know who you are at this point in time. Life gets so much easier. It's just your body stinks now. Like, my lower back hurts every day. You know, things that you're just in pain, but it's easier. And I'm like, it's true. I'm enjoying this ride. I like it. My 30s have been great.
The difference of getting old when you're young, and you fart and everyone's like, oh, when you're old and you fart, everyone's like, oh, poor old guy, he's doing his best. He's doing all right.
Oh, it's so awkward. The grocery store old person fart is the worst. And you're always stuck right behind them. And then you're like, I got to turn around. You look around, there's another person back there and you're just, all right, we're ground zero, baby. This is a good video game podcast. I like this.
This is. I think this is honestly the most video games we've talked about in an opening segment, if I'm being honest with you.
It's pretty good. All things lead to old people farts, though. We know this now. God. We've learned a valuable lesson. Right, Ashley?
Oh, yeah.
Episode 16. Welcome in, everybody. Today's date is December 2nd. The time now is 4:11 p.m. Eastern. While we've been going for a little while here, but
stop laughing.
We're happy to have anybody who's live joining us today, and for those who are listening on the release, happy to have you here as well, tuning in for our episode 16.
This is gonna be a good one. I can already tell. Like I'm flying high right now.
This episode is just an AP episode. We wanted to end the year kind of doing a little bit of a different episode here. Just the three of us. We have some fun things planned, some games planned actually a little bit later in the podcast that hopefully you guys will enjoy. It'll make us look like a bunch of dummies, which we all know that viewers of Twitch, people who listen to podcasts, love hearing people sound and look really dumb. So hopefully we'll be able to deliver on that for you guys a little bit later. But happy to have you all here. Happy to have you all here today. I wanted to start off today's actual podcast from here on out. From here on out, it's the actual podcast. I'll put a timestamp that says, everybody, you can skip to this part in the podcast if you want to actually listen to the episode. I want to start off. We have a big holiday coming up, right? Yeah. We have a big one, Christmas. We all have Christmas memories. Hopefully they're all great memories, everybody who's listening in here too. But I wanted to kind of like, if we could just take a moment and talk about cool Christmases that we had. Cool Christmases, like particularly like video game related. If you can, like, I think everybody who's a gamer, who grew up a gamer, who was allowed to play games when they were young, had that Christmas at least one time where they were like, that was such a cool Christmas. I got this, and I've never been happier. So I kind of wanted to start off today's episode, kind of going through like just Christmases past of cool video games. It doesn't have to be a video game, I guess. It can be anything, but in particular, some cool video game memories, stories, whatever you got.
I got a ton. But I talked forever. Let's let Ashley go this time.
I have two. Well, I mean, like, we're all gamers. Almost every Christmas I can think of that was a super memorable Christmas was centered around video games. And like, my parents just did everything when we were young to give us the best Christmas that they could. They worked their butts off, really. And there's a very iconic picture of me. I've posted it on Twitter. It's like, I think what my most liked tweet I've ever done before. And I'm 3 years old and I'm in like my big like 80s like shirt and like my leggings. And I'm holding up a copy of Super Mario Brothers 3. And the look on my face, because at that point, I distinctly have such great memories of playing Mario 1, Super Mario Brothers 1, Duck Hunt. You know, like those were my games. Like I would play Mario 1 forever, every day, every night. It was my life. So there's that Christmas, like how excited I was to get Mario 3, and the look on my. I'll post it in our Arcade Parlor Discord. I'll post the picture for you guys. It's very cute.
We'll tweet it out too.
Yeah. So that was a really big one. Like, I mean, that's to this day my favorite NES game that ever exists. I still have the cart to this day. The other one I can think of, I was 5. It was 93. And I got my Sega Genesis. And I remember the box. I remember how the box, like, I remember holding the box, how it felt in my hands. I was heavy. I was young. And I just did not think my life could get better than that day really, really, that was probably the best day of my life.
You
but I peaked at Sega Genesis. But I got two games.
6 years old or whatever.
Yep. I got 2 games at Christmas. I will never forget Aladdin and The Lion King. The best games.
Well, not Lion King, but
dude. So Aladdin, I stream it a lot. Like if I have nothing to do at night or like I'm like done with what I need to do and I have an hour left, I'll do a speed run of Aladdin. I absolutely adore that game. I can't even explain how much I've played it, how much I love it. If the speed runs weren't so cracked on it, I'd probably go for world record one day, but I'll stick with Bell's Quest for now. The Lion King, loved it. We've played it. It's a tough game. I got it at 5 years old. It would take me 18 years to actually beat the game. So I got Lion King when I was 5. I did not actually physically beat the game until I was 23 years old.
So you're 23. So my question, and I think we've all played it. We've all played The Lion King and have beaten it. Is it truly like a super, super difficult game, or were we just young?
It's hard and frustrating, but you can beat it. But the frustration level is almost like they felt like making it frustrating. Like, do you really need to have these jerk items falling from the ceiling in that lava level? Do you really need blind jumps? Do you really need to make the hardest jump right before the checkpoint? Like, I can see a lot of the stuff in that game put in Mario Maker levels solely to troll the person. It's not real difficulty, it's fake difficulty, and that makes me angry and mad to this day. It's very close to a great game. It's like they had a good game and they're like, you know what? The blockbuster effect, let's make this difficult and not fun difficult. And I know the monkey was part of it, but that keeps going through the game. And then there's moments like before the waterfall, the level before, like on the level with the waterfall, before you get there, it is so much fun. You're going down slides, you're dodging enemies, you're making fun jumps. If you miss a jump, you don't die. You just go down a little waterfall and you get to try it again. You're getting bugs. It's awesome. And then you get to the waterfall and it's like, well, your fun's over. Have fun jumping up these randomly falling things that you can do. It's just going to take forever and you're not going to enjoy a single minute of it. Like, I hate when video games do that and they punish you unnecessarily for no reason. Like, let us have fun. Castlevania was perfect, difficult and fun at the same time. Nah.
But for me, like, it's that final fight with Scar. And Poncho, I will talk about this stream of yours forever because you played, I think it was over 2 streams, like a year or so ago when you played Lion King and you had to figure out that final fight and the special move that only appears one time in the Lion King, which is the final boss fight. You would never know this, especially now when you don't have a physical copy of the game. The only move is in the instruction manual, and they don't even tell you when you have to use it. They just say this one random move in the instruction manual, and you don't see it until the final fight of the final level, and you would just never know. Ever. And I only knew, I beat it when I was 23 because I Googled how to do the fight. And then I was like, I didn't know this my whole life that I had to do this weird mechanic that they don't talk about. And Pancho, when somebody ever told you in your chat that those were iconic streams, like streams I'll never forget of yours, they were just so funny. You were so frustrated.
And the thing was like, I didn't know it either, right? I didn't Google it, how to do it, but it took somebody, because, you know, I'm playing it on my Mister. I don't have the original box that it came in or whatever. And I didn't have the manual. And it took until somebody linked the manual into the chat. And I started looking through the move sets and I was like, what is this move? What is this? And like, so I finally went and I found, I don't know. I found an opportunity in that final fight to use it, and sure enough, I guess that was it. And I was like, all right, game's over. I didn't know how to react. I just kind of sat there frozen with my finger in my mouth for some reason. And I was just like, I beat Lion King. I don't know what I did.
Do you think the programmers of that game, because I assume if you can program a game, you love video games, you love everything about it, and you know better than doing something like that. Is there someone at the board of like Virgin Games that is like, I think we should have a move that you only use on this in-boss fight once to make it unique, and the programmers are like, boss, that's a really bad idea. And he's like, you see what this says? It says boss, so you're gonna do it. Like, because the game controls
100%.
well.
Oh yeah.
The game plays well.
Yeah.
It looks great. And then there's decisions like that. You're like, who made that decision?
Right.
Because it makes no sense. And so I think we're all agreed then. It's someone who might this is my job. I don't actually play games. I love video games, because you have to, but you don't actually understand. Okay, cool. Because that always made me so mad, especially like I get it on games that are programmed poorly. Like, okay, you're either new to this or you don't care. But like Lion King looks beautiful, sounds good, controls well. It's just the decision made in the layout in some sections are just questionable. It's like at the end of Friends of Shinobi, where there's a million doors. Like, which door's the right one? They used to do that in video games all the time. Star Wars game, this random one's like, who likes pick a path? Because we're going to triple down because it's the end of the game. We don't have time to make any more room. So we'll put 73,000 doors and you better find your way through them. And this is extra cool. If they did that now, they would get buried, even though there's an internet we could look it up. They used to do that all the time back in the day and just laugh like a pirate. Yeah. It's like, our game's too hard. You can't beat it. It's like, because there's 73 doors and there's no map. And you're telling me I have to guess as a kid. This is ridiculous. It's called Lion King. It's a Disney movie. What?
It's a children's property.
Unbelievable. Sorry, sounds like a good Christmas, Ashley.
It was good. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was great. There we go. The only other two things I'll say, the two other Christmases that I just thought of that stuck out were the Christmas I got a Game Boy Color, and I got my blue version. My brother got blue version. I got yellow version. I think of Pokemon, and that changed. I still have my yellow version in my Game Boy Color with batteries in it. I play it all the time at night. I have the little light that plugs into, but matches the color. And then the Christmas where I got my N64 and Ocarina of Time, because my uncle had it, I remember, and I was obsessed with it, and I loved Zelda 1, Zelda 2. So when I got my own copy, that's still to this day the game I have the most hours in my entire life. So I will definitely never forget that Christmas as well.
Talk about the things that we take for granted now. That little light attachment to your Game Boy Color. Do you guys remember sitting in the backseat of the car and playing games to the street lights as they would go by? Did you guys? I think we all did that, right?
Yes. Before they had the lights, so you would like the light would go by, and you'd have like 1 second where you could see really quick, and then it was so funny.
Mm-hmm. And you couldn't turn on the back lights in the car because your parents told you that it was illegal and you get pulled over by the cops.
Launch, do your kids know what batteries are? Like, I assume they know what like cell phone battery life is, but like you have to change your batteries. Like, if you said that, would they be like, what? The thing on you can't do that.
They do. Kids' toys today are still full of batteries.
Really?
When you go, when you get a new Christmas morning, it's full of just putting like 100 batteries into like dumb toys all day that you're gonna immediately mute because they're way too loud, and they push the button 500 times. And it's like, all right, we're done with this toy for a while, I think. But no, they all do take like AA, AAA still, yeah.
The video games pretty much out of the battery market. Like, what, the Wii controller was the last time we needed to pop in batteries, or is the Xbox 360 still had battery pack at the back?
Hold on, I'm pulling up my. I'm fairly certain that Xbox is still doing that with the Xbox One X right now.
I use
Microsoft never got away from that. Like, you can go buy a rechargeable pack that they sell. It doesn't come with the controller. With their controllers still come with, you can plug it in if you want for constant connection, or you can put in, they include AA's. I'm pretty sure that Microsoft still goes that route because they think that's the most efficient and long-lasting controller right there. Which it probably does last longer than rechargeable batteries for sure, but it's not at all convenient.
It's not. That's wild. I forgot. Yeah, I have these chargeable batteries I take out, and like I just swap the two. That is wild. I thought we were finally past, because the DS, because the Game Boy Advance used batteries, but I don't think the DS did. I think the DS was straight charge.
No.
And I don't know
what that was charging it.
What voodoo god that Nintendo, like, I don't know how their products last forever, because I could plug my DS in and it'll still work, and that thing's been around forever. But yeah, I guess batteries are still around. I forgot about that.
I finally did the thing that you read about people doing, like on the internet and stuff like that. I found a Game Boy Advance SP in our crawl space that I haven't turned on in over a decade.
Wow.
Turn it on, boom, it was still going. And that was on a rechargeable, because the Game Boy Advance SP was a rechargeable. That would have probably been the first exclusively rechargeable handheld device Nintendo put out. And that one, I did not plug it in. I just booted up, and it had been over a decade. And it's sure enough the thing that, like, you see people post online, that the Nintendo, like, they're old school. Like, I wouldn't expect a Switch to do that in 10 years from now. I think we can all agree that would never happen on a Nintendo Switch. But their Game Boys, and maybe even the original DS line before 3DS might be able to do that. I don't know, but yeah, the Game Boy Advance SP, it booted right up. The lights were green. It didn't show like low battery orange or red that was flashing or anything. And I never recharged it. And like my daughter was playing with it for a few hours, checking it out and stuff like that. It was wild. It was still going.
They set an unreasonable standard, because now if something of mine breaks, even if it's after 7 years, I'm mad. I paid good money. Oh wait, it's been 7 years. Calm yourself, man. Like, it's cool. Yeah. Like, because I'm used to everything just working forever, because my Nintendo still works. That's older than me. You know, I just assume if I buy something, it's going to work until the end of time. And I'm now learning the lesson. This is not the case. You just have to buy new. Because this is even before my time. They used to have like repair shops for things. Your technology would break. You'd take it to the TV repairman. He'd fix your TV. There's no TV repairman anymore. It's just kind of GG, unless you know a nerd friend that loves that stuff. I think it's just friends that fix it for you at this point in time. Like, we have a TV in our room. Doesn't turn on anymore. It turns on, but the screen doesn't work anymore. Got to get a new TV. Like, I don't know where to take it or do anything. I think it's just done.
Well, and I think like products have just gotten cheaper too.
Right.
Like everybody in the world has a big screen, flat screen TV now, right? Like nobody, I mean, there's going to be some people who have like an old tube TV still out there. There's still people out there, but like they're so affordable now. It's like, oh, it died. It's been 5 years. Let's get a new one and get a bigger one. Let's get a bigger one, and it's still going to be cheaper than what we paid for the last one,
or cheaper than to fix it.
Yeah. And I don't even fixing it. Maybe fixing it. It's like it's not even worth the cost of time and material and stuff. I don't know. I've never even priced that out.
You know what I'm devastated about? And it just came up today. I cannot use my old light guns anymore because I don't have a CRTV. Like, I have a Sega Saturn and Virtua Cop 2. Not going to use the D-pad to drive around the screen. Not going to do that. You know, once I got the Wii, those days are done. And it's just not possible. I thought there would be some scientist or nerd out there by this point in time, like, plug in this attachment or do this one thing between, because like we have HD Super Nintendos now. Just make old light guns work on regular TVs, because I want to play Virtua Cop 2 on my Sega Saturn. I want to play Duck Hunt. Like, I can never. You talk about how much you play Duck Hunt, Ashley. If you don't have a CRTV, you are never going to play that Duck Hunt coffee again. Nope. And that hurts my feeling. I'm a nerd. I want to play on my old stuff that I've had forever. It gives me nostalgia. And we just can't. We can't. And I don't even know where to find a CRTV. Mad.
Good luck. And they're expensive.
I just got to like keep an eye out for yard sales, but I don't, I'm scared of people. So if I see a yard sale, I drive out of the way. So I think just my light gun days are over. I want light gun technology to take a step forward, because I love House of the Dead. I love Virtua Cop. Anytime I see a light gun arcade cabinet somewhere, I want to play that so badly. And I missed that. And they made like House of the Dead on the Switch They're like, we're going to remake the first one. It's going to be incredible. Use gyro controls. One of the worst games I've ever played. You can't use the gyro controls at all. It looks fine. I'm sure it plays good. You cannot. It doesn't work. You have to recalibrate every 3 shots. It was the worst purchase since Mario Strikers. Great Christmas though, Ashley. Sorry, another tangent.
How about you? What was your like memorable Christmases, Pops, that you've had?
Sonic 2. We got Sega Genesis.
Oh.
We had the shirts. We got Sonic 1 that said not for resale on it, which I don't even to this day remember what that means. Like, I'm going to sell it. Like, who's the one? Did anyone get arrested for selling back their not for resale copy of Sonic 1? I would love to know. And if for people that don't know what I'm talking about, when Sonic 1 came out, and I think if it was the pack-in game, I think it only did it for pack-in games, they would put on the game itself, not for resale. So you have the cover, and it's part of the cover. And you just weren't allowed to sell it, I guess. And I'm just wondering, like, is that legally binding? I don't know the rules for it, but they basically said, this is yours, but you're not allowed to ever sell it. Like, I would love to know the legality behind it. But Sonic 2 was incredible. But weirdly enough for me, a memory is renting games was big back in the day. And I would always love to rent games around the holidays because the store was closed and they would give you a free day. And so you would rent the game that would need to be returned on Christmas Day. They're closed, so you have to return it the day after. And weirdly enough, Sonic R on the Saturn is a game that I remember staying up all night playing. And it's not a bad game. It's not a good game. But it's one of those Christmas Eve nights where I was playing that at 100% of the game. You can unlock a bunch of hidden characters. Hidden characters to this day are still so much fun to unlock, like the old-fashioned way through collecting, not through DLC. But that's a different story for a different day. But for some reason, Sonic R will always stand out to me. And the last video game system we got for Christmas was the GameCube. Neither of my brothers, like after the Super Nintendo, cared about video games. So it was really hard for me to convince them to say, hey, let's all go into this GameCube thing together. And they finally were like, okay, fine, because like we can't all be getting Nintendo systems. And so my brothers said, like, okay, that can be part of our Christmas too. And we all got to pick a game. And I'm like, gotta get Rogue Squadron. Gotta get Rogue Squadron on the GameCube. The graphics are going to be incredible. It's Star Wars. It's awesome. And my little brother is like, I want NHL Hits. I'm like, you are an idiot, man. Don't get NHL Hits. It's going to be terrible. Who likes sports games? Aww. And then Christmas came. I played Rogue Squadron for like 5 minutes. We popped in NHL Hits. Limp Bizkit starts singing, keep rolling, rolling. We played NHL Hits for 2 weeks straight. Like, it was the most fun I've had playing a hockey game. It was incredible. Like, my dad was playing, my older brother. And so that was one of those tales of I did not think I would enjoy this game. I knew I was going to love this one game, and I was completely wrong. Like, we had so much fun playing NHL Hits. It was like the last time as a family we all played games together.
Yeah.
NHL Hits, probably 2002, I would assume. I think that was the one. That game was fun. I played that. You get up and you get into fights with people, and it was a lot of like, it turned into like a mini fighting game or like punching each other in the face repeatedly, in the gut, stuff like that. And that was a fun game. It's super arcadey. That's why it's fun. It's super arcadey. The puck is on fire. You're lighting their goals on fire. I mean, that's a good time. That's a good time.
People forget how much fun arcade sports games are. Like NBA Jam, NFL Blitz, even Tecmo Bowl I would consider very arcadey. Oh, I guess it started in the arcade, so yeah, I'm right. Yeah. But like sports games get a bad rep because 99% of the time they're terrible. Madden, not fun to play. Baseball, oh my goodness. Like that's if I go not to heaven, I know what the other place is. They're going to make me play MLB The Show. Season mode, and it's going to I have to play as the Pittsburgh Pirates every single game. And that is worse than anything else I can imagine. But I love King Griffey Jr. on the Super Nintendo. Like the last time my buddy visited, we changed all of the names to friends. We changed all of the names to kids from high school that we didn't really know, but it was fun to remember their names. Shout out Paul Carson. It's just because Paul Carson hits a dinger, we're going nuts. We're screaming the name of just an acquaintance from high school. Those games were a ton of fun, but just modern sports games, they're simulations more than video games. And I get that if you're into a simulation of that, like that's probably for you. But arcade sports games used to be a blast. And we still have, thank goodness for Mario Tennis. Mario Golf is good. Mario Strikers can get out of town. But, I miss good. Like if NFL Blitz came back, I'd buy it in a second. I love NFL Blitz. It's a riot, but I miss those. But that's my probably the last Christmas, because once you get old enough, you kind of just you can buy the games you want. You don't have to kind of wait around for your birthday or Christmas.
Yep. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's definitely. It's so difficult to give recommendations to my wife what to buy for me for like Christmas, because it's like I've already bought everything over the past year that I've been wanting. And like anything I say that I want is something I could just go and buy at any point, right? It's not really. I mean, like it's the blessing and the curse, I guess, of having some disposable income to be able to do stuff with that. But and it's like she always asks me, "What do you want?" Or my in-laws will ask, "Well, what do you want?" I'm like, I don't know. And money's never a good answer, so it's like I don't know. Something.
So I just thought of something, a memory I suppressed for a long time. And after I just said what my fate is, if I am not a good person, I am terrified. So is it all right with you guys if I give a sort of Christmas confession today?
Let's hear it.
Okay. This is a 100% true story.
Let's go.
Oh my goodness, I've suppressed this. So when the Nintendo DS came out, I wanted it. I couldn't afford it. And my parents are like, yeah, we'll get that for you for Christmas. And, by this age, I know where the Christmas presents are. I know where the parents hide them. Like, your house at this point in time. So I went in, grabbed the DS as soon as my mom got it, opened it, put in something of equal weight, resealed the box, and put it there. And I played my DS for months. On Christmas Day, when I opened it, I was like, the Nintendo DS! And I was so excited, and I ran straight to my room to grab the DS and slide it back into the box and take out whatever thing that I had there that was not the DS. And I ran back, and I'm like, yes, look! Oh, look how cool this is! It's the first time I've ever playing it! I totally played that bad boy months in advance, and I lied, and I put on a show. And now I have regrets, and I'm sorry. I do not want to play MLB The Show for all eternity. Please forgive me. You forgive me, Ashley.
For those who can't see us, I'm just shaking my head. Very disappointed in you, Pops. But pretty smart, though. Put the equal weight in there.
Equal weight. Genius, I wasn't messing around.
Pretty smart.
See, I was so careful. I had the little plastic circle thing that goes over the ledges. Like, yeah, I had that months in advance. And I can't remember the game that came with it. Did it come with Mario 64 Remake, the DS?
There probably was a pack, like a bundle deal of some sort. Not normally like normally they just sold the console itself, but there may have been
there was a package though.
Yeah, it was right when it came out. It might have just been, was it Metroid Hunters, the little bonus disc? It wasn't the full game.
I think there was a demo of Metroid Prime Hunters or something like that. I think there would have been a demo possibly.
That might have been what I played. I don't remember, but I know I played it for months in advance, and I had no remorse at the time. But today is the first time I have remorse. So whenever the DS came out until now, I have grown as a person as of today, thanks to this podcast and our Christmas memories. Ashley, I want to thank you for your forgiveness.
This is like almost 20 years later, I think. I think it's been about 20 years since the DS came out.
I have a Christmas confession.
All right, let's hear it.
I just thought of this also.
After all the disappointment you just showed in Cheese Pops, we're gonna Cheese Pops is gonna have the disappointment for you now.
Mom, I'm sorry. But I was the oldest, right? So my brothers are younger than me, 5 years and 9 years younger, and there were definitely there's one specific Christmas I remember. My mom was like, "What should I get for your brother?" I'm like, "He really wants Pokemon Stadium too, Mom." I just know he does. I think he was talking about it. I'm pretty sure he wanted it, and he didn't want Pokemon Stadium too. I wanted another Christmas present. I'm so sorry, Mom.
Did you ever tell your brother about that?
No.
Or does he just think that she just, to this day, thinks that she just bought that for him still?
The thing is, as he got older, he loved the game because he would sit in my room and watch me and give him the fake controller. You're playing with me. We're totally doing these mini games together. And as we grew up, like he would memorize like the quiz on that, and like he'd memorize all the mini games. So as we grew up, he learned to love the games. I did play it with him, but mostly like it was just me in my room. But he had no desire to.
I picture your Pokemon little brother in like a Digimon shirt opening it and sees it's Pokemon Stadium 2 and just being like, "Thanks, Mom.
What is this
Santa.
Trash?
I thought Santa knew everything. This is an outrage."
I'm sorry, Mom. Great game, though.
Oh, great game.
And we were just talking about that last night, too. How you were saying how many hours you've spent in Pokemon Stadium 2.
Like that specific game.
A stolen Christmas gift. A robbed Christmas gift. That's what it is. The robbed Christmas gift.
The Ashley Angel and the Devil is like, no, totally do it. Just, you can get 2 video games for the price of 1. You know? The Angel's like, yeah, you'll play it with them.
Most of my games from childhood I've kept. I have almost every cart that I've ever owned of any game I've ever owned. And I remember when I moved out of my parents' house, I was 20. And there were some games that were in my brother's and that were both of our games. But that was his game because he opened it on Christmas. So one of the carts, and I was saying in your chat last night, Pancho Taco, David, I was saying I don't have the cart anymore. I wish I did because it was so cool looking. And I played it up till the day I moved out. I was like, oh, that's my brother's game. Can't take that.
I forgive you, Ashley.
Thank you, Pops.
You just know next time your mom shows up in your stream, Ashley, everyone's gonna beg. You gotta confess. You gotta confess.
That's so good. I assume, Paunch, you just buy your kids presents for yourself. It's that microphone you wanted. The Rode Podcaster! Yeah, you got it! Merry Christmas!
Yay!
There's no birthday this year.
Right. I'm trying to think of my Christmases now.
Yes.
I can think of there's probably 3. Everybody remembers the Nintendo 64 Christmas.
Oh,
that's a staple Christmas, and people who got that for Christmas, that's a staple. Ours came N64. I think we only got Mario 64 that day, which I think was it? Did it come with it? I know Mario 64 was on the box. Like there's a picture of Mario kind of like running, but I think he came separately. You had to buy him separately, unless there was some Christmas bundle that they did where the SKU is the same. I don't know. So of course, getting that was awesome. And then I also remember, I don't know why this one sticks out. And I know I don't know if I've talked about it here on the podcast. I know I've talked about it elsewhere, but there's one other one that sticks out for whatever reason. I don't think I got my Game Boy Pocket for Christmas, but I had the Game Boy Pocket that was like the lime green see-through, translucent kind of green Game Boy Pocket. Super cool. Nobody else at school had that one. They all had like the lame purple one or something like that in comparison. And I remember for some reason I thought it was the coolest thing. There was a Bomberman game that was on it. They had like a picture of like Indiana Jones Bomberman on it. I can't remember what the game was actually called, but it was something. It might have just been called like Bomberman Game Boy for all I know. but it had like an Indiana Jones looking Bomberman on the front. And I was like, this guy's the coolest guy in the world. This thing's so cool. And I was just playing that. And I don't know, that one still just sticks out. Just getting that Bomberman game for whatever reason. I was like, there's nothing cooler than this character in a video game. And then, of course, I remember getting I never had the original DS. I got the DS Lite for Christmas, which was a far and better DS than it was. A really good revision, smaller clamshell, much more vibrant screens. I think were about the same. It's still the same size and everything, but overall a much improved system. And I got that for Christmas. It was in a box that didn't make sense, like in a giant box, so it wasn't obvious what it was. It was this giant, I don't know, Toys R Us box of some sort. And I just remember you're at the age where you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna get it. It's the only thing I've been asking for, and it's like, it'd be cool if I don't know if I'm gonna get it. And then sure enough, it was in that giant massive box that was like 25 times too big. I got that, and I got like Mario Kart DS and maybe something else, which Mario Kart DS is an S tier Mario Kart, by the way. So good. I spent so much time. That was my first experience really doing much of anything online, too. The online multiplayer was great. Playing it with friends and stuff like that. And that was a good Christmas. That was a good one. Getting that DS.
I love in Mario Kart on the DS, the story mode. Bring that back where you had like bosses and missions and levels. That was the coolest thing.
That's right.
I love that. And you could customize your cart. You could draw a little picture and put it on there. And so I said, like, you smell and like something and race online and would just be a troll. Mario Kart DS was incredible. And you could play, I believe, 4 players with only one cart. And so my buddies that had the DS2, we would connect locally, and it was so much fun. So much fun. And then Nintendo did that thing like, all right, we made advancements, let's take those back. We never have those again. It's like Mario Maker 2 taking away costumes. Why? Nintendo! You figured it out and you took it away.
That you just threw a memory to me. In Mario Kart DS, how you could draw your own profile pictures. My picture for the longest time.
Oh no.
I drew a pair of butt cheeks and with a foot like kicking them. And that was my picture for the longest time. So anytime I pass you, it was like I was kicking your butt.
So good.
I completely forgot about that for years, or the entire duration of that.
The Wild
I remember
West.
going over to a friend's house and we were all sitting there playing, had our DSs out, and we were all playing, and his dad was watching like over his son's shoulder as we were playing, and he was like, what is that picture? It's just this butt goes by with this foot kicking it.
That's so good.
I completely forgot about that.
We can't be trusted with our profile pictures anymore. I'll be fair, it's a good decision to take that power out of our hands. It's a good decision.
Wow.
Oh man, and the DS had the Picto chat and everything. Picto chat was fun if you had a couple friends in the room just drawing nonsense and stuff you weren't proud of after the fact, or maybe you were proud. I don't know, but that was another fun feature for sure when you're at friends' houses and stuff.
Nintendo's so weird. Like they always double down on even failed technology. Like, no, I wouldn't say fail, but like if they mess up something years later, they seem to come back and fix it. Like the DS wasn't that like a Game & Watch thing where it had 2 screens and they're like, oh, let's do that again in the future. And then the Switch is just the Wii U, just not ridiculously not thought through. The Switch is just the Wii U, but smart. And like, I'm waiting. I am waiting. I'm telling you, once VR is figured out, Nintendo is going to jump on board with the Virtual Boy 2, and it is going to be like the biggest seller of all time. It's happening, Punch. I'm telling you.
What a thing. Like, I don't know what Nintendo has in stock. And I mean, they seem like they're kind of set in what they're doing, but every once in a while they come out with something once they're happy with the way the technology has run for a while. And I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do. It's going to be wild, though.
They've never been, I think, since like the Nintendo, they've never been at the forefront of technology. They've always taken older, cheaper technology and focused on the games. And as a fan of Nintendo, I've always liked that. But I will say, growing up, man, I was a Sega kid. Give me the 32 bits. Like, Genesis was so much cooler and stuff. And then when Sega died, I was like, okay, fine, Nintendo, I like you now. And just give me the fun games. Graphics don't matter. So I am a puppet. I know that. And I will forever be. But, I will say that, like, it was even the Nintendo was outclassed by the Turbo Graphics pretty quickly. I don't know if the Master System of Sega was more powerful than it, but I just know Nintendo has always been, even when the Super Nintendo came out, the Genesis, which came out like years before, still kind of was close or comparable. And then like the 64 came out already kind of behind because they stepped with cartridges, and then the GameCube was behind, and then they're like, okay, we can't be doing this battle because we're going to lose. And then they're like, oh, motion controls. Nintendo's wild. The games carry them.
I mean, GameCube was honestly probably the last system they had that was like semi, like, I mean, obviously it's all a competition, but in direct competition with like Sony, and that was when Xbox came out, of course, when Microsoft entered the field. But I think GameCube was really their last attempt at being in that field, and obviously it was the lowest performing as far as graphics are concerned, and just sheer powerhouse. But it was still getting all the third party games, and they ran pretty well for the most part. And then they decided that now they're Nintendo of today, and they're doing their own thing, and we buy it because there's a certain quality that comes with that, of course. Even though some of it might be a little gimmicky for at least a while and stuff, but it's they're like, I don't even consider, like, when I think of like the video game competition out there, like I don't even like think of Nintendo in that way anymore, right? They're not like, it's clearly not a console war between like Sony and Microsoft kind of. They're equally about the same in terms of power. There's always one that's a little bit better than the other, or they come out with a I don't know, like a pro version someday that's a little bit more efficient, a little bit more powerhouse. And obviously they're getting like the same third party Call of Duties and stuff. Like I don't think you can get any current day Call of Duties on Switch or anything like that. I think it's all like, so like when it comes to that, like Nintendo, I don't even like consider them in that type of console war anymore. Obviously they still are, but they're not fighting for that exact same space that these other consoles once are still doing.
It's kind of like they tricked us, like, oh, they're shutting down their handheld market, but no, like they shut down their console to give us a handheld that you can play on TV, which is kind of really cool to think about how like far ahead graphics have come. And they're like, okay, let's just double down on the handheld, but make sure you can play. It's really smart of them in hindsight, but like I think if you're like a video game player, you got to have a Nintendo, you got to have an Xbox or PlayStation, because there's games you just can't play on the Switch that you can play on other systems. They don't look right. It's not the same. You need the 60 frames or whatever, like, stuff like that. But like, I think you have to choose. But I agree. Like, what was the last like Sony made game? What was the last Microsoft made game? They just buy their exclusives for the most part, from what I understand, which is fine. That's what you're supposed to do with money. But It's just like, I feel obligated to have a Nintendo because I need my Zeldas. I need my Marios. I will at some point hopefully get a Metroid Prime 4, but you know what? I'll take Dread. Dread was incredible. So if you have to delay 4, like, all right, we messed up with Prime, but we made this sweet 2D Metroid game. Like, yeah, let's go. That was such a treat.
I mean, I will still always buy the latest PlayStation, just because as I get older and stuff with my video games, I don't really have an interest in playing multiplayer at all. And I want just narrative games. And PlayStation is the place to be for that. If you just want a narrative driven game, story, with obviously gameplay and stuff like that, PlayStation is the home of that. PC too, of course, but Sony just has some IPs that I want to continue playing, or they have certain developers that I like the style of their games that you can't really get anywhere else. And for that reason, I will continue to buy PlayStations. Xbox, I don't really have an interest in that. I have a PC. Everything nowadays, especially that comes to Xbox, comes to PC, or it's on PlayStation already. There's not really that many exclusives, but I will continue to buy PlayStation solely for that purpose.
I will continue to buy Nintendos because if Nintendo puts a Triforce on it, I think no thoughts and I buy it. So they got me.
If they made a car that was just the Hyrule buggy in real life,
it's just a bumper sticker.
I'd go out the next day. I'd go out the next day.
Ashley'd have that bad boy. It doesn't even come with airbags or seatbelts, and Ashley's like, "This is great." You know?
No thought.
1 mile to the gallon. I love you, Nintendo. Doesn't have a radio though for some reason. Exactly what a Nintendo car would be.
And no Bluetooth either.
No, of course, Bluetooth. I said Nintendo.
But they do have a headphone jack. They do have a headphone jack in the car.
And it's motion controls. You got to just have the wheel is in the air. You don't actually get a real wheel.
Just 2 Joy-Cons. That's all you get.
Soft left vehicle. It's voice controls.
Either that or it's switch controls, but it's like pod racing. You push them both forward, slightly turn. And
no, you gotta set up the Wii sensor bar on the front. That's very important so it can see. It. But unfortunately, it doesn't work if oncoming traffic doesn't have the headlights on. So you gotta change some traffic law.
I'm just thinking about the controls of Skyward Sword right now, and how much I get made fun of that I'm the only person that loves that game.
I'm telling you, it's the moment, Poncho, as a Zelda nerd, you pull the sword out and hold it over your head, even though it's a Wii remote, you feel like a boss. And if that's the moment I get from that game, that is more of a moment than I've had from any Call of Duty, Halo combined.
Thank you for that.
I don't know if I'm going to feel like much of a boss sitting there on the couch lifting my
you can't think of what you look like in real life. You're in the game. You're lost in the moment. And it's playing the tunes and you're feeling cool. And then you see yourself in the mirror and you're like, I got to get a job. This is ridiculous.
Oh, man. That's... I don't know. I don't know if I'd feel that cool doing that ever. I always bring this up whenever Skyward Sword comes up. Please go watch the E3 where that was revealed. The gameplay was revealed because nothing works for Miyamoto, and you can see visible frustration on his face.
He's so
They start
upset.
accusing somebody in the crowd of messing with the game and everything. It's so crungo. It's so cringe. You have. I challenge anybody listening to this. Go look up Skyward Sword E3 presentation. It is super cringe. It just doesn't work for Miyamoto, and he's getting angry. It's something. It's something.
Wow.
Christmases. All right, yeah, we got Christmases coming up for a lot of the world coming up here, of course. So hopefully everybody has another amazing Christmas with some cool gifts, or able to do it for their own children or other kids that would in need of cool Christmases as well. I'm totally blanking out on what there was. We talked about Thanksgiving. Oh, I want to talk about one more thing in Thanksgiving. One more thing that I did in Thanksgiving that I've never done before is I went to one of those really cool, you pay $15 flat fee. You walk in and you have unlimited access to arcade cabinets. Unlimited and pinball machines.
Cool.
$15. Yep. One thing, they stamp your hand so that you show that you paid the entry fee. And there was like 20 different pinball machines. They had my favorite one was the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy pinball machine. It had all the villains in it. And and of course I love the Raimi trilogy, so that was amazing. They had like Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. They had a lot of other cool ones there too, and it was just cool. Like I played a MAME SMB1, Like there's an arcade cabinet for SMB1, so you had like the joystick and everything. Super jank, even more jank playing it that way. We played, the old X-Men game. It was me and my brother. We met up and we went over to this. Just some really cool old arcade cabinets. But yeah, $15 flat fee. Spent a few hours. They even had like PS5s hooked up, switches for Smash Brothers. They had a bunch of stuff hooked up, and it was really cool. I'd never been to a place like that. It was just cool to see, like, unlimited access. It was definitely it definitely took any of the urgency out of the games, though. When I'm playing X-Men, we die and she's like, oh, just hit restart, and there I am again. There's no quarters involved, so there's definitely no urgency or anything going on with that. But it was still a lot of fun. I've never been in like a free-for-all like arcade like that. That was a lot of fun.
Those are like, ever since arcades died, that was my dream of opening basically what you just described, with adult beverages as well, that you could pay extra and stuff like that. But I miss arcades so much. But I'm lucky now. There's one near me. It's relatively new. Some of the games are broken. It all costs tokens or quarters, which I'm not a fan of. Even though ultimately I'll probably get bored before I spend $15. I'd still rather go in, give the $15 so I can try all of the stuff. Because there are still new arcade games that pop out. Like, I think I saw like a Jurassic Park one, or like what's the Dead show everyone likes? Walking Dead. There's one of those, and they're just rail shooters that are always fun in the arcade, like skee ball, things like that. It was such a cool feeling back in the day to play that stuff. And I even love the old like Atari games that were arcade games as well. Give me some of that Tempest. Just weird game. Vector graphics look so cool to this day, and they have a couple of those machines. And it's just, I love arcades, the vibe of them. I wish if I could go back in time at any point in time, would be to see an arcade in like the heydays, because I saw them in the 90s, and even then it's kind of sleazy at this point in time. You can tell they're going down, but it still had some kick left. But if I could see them in the 70s with like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, like that's where they're just bouncing. Like, this is every Friday night. Kids are skipping school to come here. Like, I would love to see that. Like, people crowded around an arcade machine. I have never seen that. Only once in my life did someone come up to a machine and put down a quarter. It was Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Wow. Kicked his butt by spamming the cable shot. Oh man, he probably left unhappy. That's the only time someone ever challenged me. And I am undefeated in the arcade. But I miss him. I love that stuff.
Yeah, it was very cool. I didn't go much to the arcades growing up either. We had a what was it? A kind of like a giant tube playground place that also had arcade. Like it had like some of your ticket games in there too. But it had like one room in the back that had the arcade games. And that's where I learned about the Simpsons arcade game that everybody loved. That was always a favorite. Marvel vs. Capcom was there. There was a Star Wars game where it just had like a giant, like, I don't know, it didn't have like any buttons on the sides or anything like that. It was just like a joystick that had all the buttons on it. And there was like, X-Fighter, or not X-Fighter, but like X-Wing dog fights, a lightsaber one, but some other shooters, stuff like that. There were some other games in there too, but that was really the extent of arcades for me. Like I obviously I never grew up where like people were throwing quarters down. Like they were up next, getting into those fighter tournaments and stuff. But
that was even dead when, like, because Street Fighter 2 was on Super Nintendos, and stuff like that. And it just kind of like, those days were done, but I would have loved to have seen it. Love to it. Because it's such a cool, different vibe. And I love the energy. And like, what do we have now? What's that place called? It's mostly ticket games, Busters. I think. Dave and Buster's. I've never been there.
Dave and Buster's,
but like, I don't want to go for some reason. It feels different, but maybe it has a ton of video games and I'm just missing out.
It's like a split, like a 50-50 tickets and arcade games. So take it with you. A lot of skee ball and stuff, games like that.
My wife.
Go ahead.
unreasonably good at skee ball. That's all I had to say. It makes me
I love
mad.
skee ball.
Like, she can't tie her shoes and she gets the skee ball, and it's just like, she's a hustler. She's just boom into the top, like the impossible to get ones. And I'm struggling. It turns out throwing it harder doesn't help, but she's unreasonably good.
So growing up, I would spend my summers in Rhode Island, and they still had a bunch of old style arcades there, like Aladdin's Castle in the mall, and it still had all the old stuff, old stuff. Now there was a place I went as a kid. I'm talking like I went to this place from when I was like 3 years old until like I was in my 20s, and it's still there. And it's like, this isn't doxing or anything. Rhode Island's so small, but it's called Fantasyland. And it may even be in Massachusetts, like right outside the walls of Rhode Island. But anyway, I remember going there as a kid, and they had everything you would think of. They had the Simpsons arcade game. They had the Ninja Turtles they had the Ninja Turtles cabinet and like all the old cabinets. But then they also had the new ticket games, everything mixed in. And I remember like my family taking me there and being like, Ashley, why aren't you playing the ticket games? Like, don't you want to get prizes? And I was like, no, I want to be Marge Simpson and beat people with the freaking vacuum cleaner. But I got to play those. And last thing before we leave the arcade talk, my high school reunion was my 10-year reunion was a few years ago. And we had it at a brewery, and across the street from the brewery was like this little, like, you know, adult beverage place, and they have OG cabinets there. You don't pay anything. As long as you're drinking there and you have an adult beverage, you can play whatever you want. They have original, not reskinned, original Pac-Man cabinet, Donkey Kong cabinet. They had new stuff there too, but like old stuff. And me and a couple of like my high school friends like snuck off and we went and played video games for an hour. That was pretty fun.
That's awesome. Did I learn something recently? Did you know Pac-Man has like little to no RNG? So, like, I know we all know that you can get a perfect score in Pac-Man. And in my head, like, how hard would that be? Because you have to eat all of the ghosts, eat all of the little prizes that come down, all the fruits in the middle. I'm like, you gotta be insane. But no, it's actually memorization. Because if you take the same path every time, all of the ghosts are programmed to do the exact same thing. So there's even spots on the map as Pac-Man you can go. If you get there at the right time, the ghosts will never hit you. And so if you wanted to ruin like an arcade, just go into that spot. If you do it right, the ghost will constantly go in circles in the four corners and they'll never come down to get you. So there's no RNG. And so the perfect score in Pac-Man, though impressive, you can absolutely memorize the game. So it's more memorization and execution than just knowledge of like read and react, which I had no idea. I waste my life on YouTube, just FYI. I don't even like
cool.
Pac-Man.
I know, I didn't know that.
I hate Pac-Man. I don't like it. Miss Pac-Man's kind of good, kind of fun. I love the character Pac-Man because Miss Pac-Man had the cutscenes and stuff. I love the Sega Genesis Pac-Man 2, the new adventures with the slingshot. But every time I play Pac-Man, I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know this. And I love point-based games too. Pac-Man, not for me. But the YouTube videos about it are.
That's where the interest is. Moving on in our podcast here, one other thing before we do some other stuff here, I wanted to talk about here that will get a little bit of discussion here is there is an event coming up in about 5 days called the Game Awards, which is for anybody listening who's not familiar with it, it's a newer thing over the past 4 or 5 years that started. This is considered like the true game of the year. It's live streamed at YouTube or Twitch, I don't know, and then it's rebroadcasted in multiple places. And this is where they honor, kind of like the Oscars, multiple categories for video games, like sound design, art, just general best game of the year, best indie game, etc., stuff like that. And not only is it just like awards, but over the past few years, they've actually like gotten some like pretty cool announcements, world premieres that come. So it's almost like if you're into gaming, you got to tune in for that live reaction world premiere of like some sweet games. Like I think like maybe I might be wrong on this, but I feel like Elden Ring may have been announced there at one, like when it first was. It was either that or that might have been
demoed.
Summer Games Fest. I can't remember. It was first like the first trailer. It was something like that. So now it's like it's almost like if you're into games, you got to tune in because you want to be on the up and up when these things are announced, you know, and like chatting on the forums, on the Discords, everything like that. Super excited for it. But one thing I wanted to talk about, one specific category. I don't know how many of you guys have played games that did come out this year, but there is the Game of the Year nominations for flat out Game of the Year are as follows. I think these are just listed alphabetically. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and then The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So 1, 2, 3. So there's 6 games. Now we all know in these awards, there's 6 things on there, but we really know it's usually only 2 that are actually in, actual contention here. Like, that there's just things to pad out sometimes. Like, I don't think we're going to see Mario Brothers Wonder get this. I don't think we're going to see Alan Wake 2 get this. I'll be shocked if Resident Evil 4, because it's a remake. That's just kind of a weird thing to give it to. I think it ultimately comes down between Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom. Both just took over online, huge, both widely accepted as great games. And I really don't know where this could go. It could go in, I could see a case for both. I have my personal opinions, which I know people know what my opinion probably is on that if they've hung out in my stream in any capacity. And I have what I would consider very, very valid facts as to why Baldur's Gate 3 should get Game of the Year, but based off of who developed it and where it came from and how much what that game really is on the inside and development and everything, it's quite insane. But I don't know. Have you guys? I know everybody here has played Tears of the Kingdom. I have not played Mario Wonder. Have you guys played any of these other games?
Just Wonder and Tears of the Kingdom for me.
Yeah. I assume that's probably the same for you, right, Ashley?
First of all, I just want to say about your opinion that this is coming from the guy who played Tears of the Kingdom for 15 minutes and then was like, wait, I gotta eat food because it's cold. I'm done with this game. And you played it for like 5 minutes and threw it to the side.
I will say that Baldur's Gate 3 has way more systems than that, but that game hooked me.
The cool
Tears
thing,
of the Kingdom. I played Tears of the Kingdom for about 10 hours. I gave it that 10 hours. 10 hours in any video game is a good stab. That's a good stab. I didn't give it like the 1 hour. I played it for 10 hours and no, I'm never touching that game again.
I'm kind of sad that like the eternal video game meme isn't still, I know it's still alive, but like I wanted it to be like Tears of the Kingdom versus a Final Fantasy, because like every character battle comes down to like Cloud versus Link or Sephiroth versus Link. And like, what's the best game ever? Ocarina of Time versus Final Fantasy VII. But Ashley, you're not going to like this. I've not played Baldur's Gate. What's it called? Baldur's Gate?
Yes.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate 3. Apparently there was a 1 and 2. But, Tears of the Kingdom, though amazing and perfect, never give it to a sequel. Like, let's give it to something that tried something different and new. And
I'm sorry, they didn't call it Breath of the Wild 2.
I know, but that's what it is, and it's awesome. It's amazing, and I played it, and I love it. But what I saw of Baldur's Gate 3, because I saw a few people streaming, it's different, and I've never seen anything like it. So make that Game of the Year, so maybe game developers will try something different. But Tears of the King is better. I agree with you 100%. I don't want to roll dice to see if I can do something. Get out of here. Give me my sword. Also, some food to stay warm.
Let me tell you, any RPG out there is rolling dice. This is the only game that makes it visible. All those games are rolling dice and running numbers in the background. You just don't know it.
Who votes on this? Is it like just a couple of people that run the show?
So I actually looked into this because I've never known it. And they say they have like almost 100 games journalists, people who are known in the industry, and they poll them. as to what they think these nominees should be. And I guess these people do have to write something on why they justify this game should be in this category and stuff. So it's not just like Jeff Keighley sitting there in his room being like, I liked this game, and this game. Let's put it up there. It actually does come from like a number of people.
Are the votes like public? You can tell who voted for who, or is it still kind of in the background?
That I don't know.
Be interesting. But I mean, all of those games, they're all quality. They're well done. For me, the winner should be, hopefully something new, because I like, even though I'm like stuck in my ways, I'm in a phase now where I kind of feel like I need something new and different, but then I don't try anything new and different. I'm in a weird place right now, Ashley, where like I'm so sick of these same games, and then I fire up Sonic 2 on the Genesis again because that's who I am, because like I want something different, but I'm also old and scared of change.
Honestly, though, if I had to vote on the games that I played, I would as much as I adore Baldur's Gate 3, I would honestly pick the Resident Evil 4 remake. I don't think it should win. Out of these games, it's the one I had the most fun with. It was an incredible remake that like completely redid how that game is played, how it should be viewed, and it was honestly probably the best game I played this year. And obviously I played the original Resident Evil 4, but the remake was so incredible. Like I did not want it to end at all. And I know there's a DLC, which I'm going to get to, the Separate Ways, which I never did play Separate Ways when it originally released. So I'm interested in that. But Resident Evil 4 remake was an incredible game. I streamed it. People liked watching that, and it was, I don't know. It was just so good. Out of all the games I played this year, that released in the past 12 months, that would honestly be my pick. And the funny thing that I'm looking at, as I'm looking at these nominees, it was when they have Resident Evil 4 on here, they don't even write remake on it. They just call it Resident Evil 4. It's almost like they're trying to bypass getting some flack for putting a remake on the list here, which I don't think it should be. It should win, mostly because it's a remake. I'd like to see innovations, and I know like Tears of the Kingdom's a sequel. Baldur's Gate 3 is the third, so it is a sequel. Pops, by the way. So there goes your hole.
It's new to me.
Yeah, Alan Wake 2 is a sequel. Spider-Man 2 is a sequel. I think the only one that's not any type of sequel is Mario Brothers Wonder.
That is a sequel. Y runs, B jumps. That is a sequel. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. Nothing here is like truly original, of course, but they are all stellar choices. Like I said, it's really going to come down to between two, and it's going to be either Baldur's Gate 3 or Tears of the Kingdom. I don't think any of the other ones are really even in question for the running, to be honest.
As far as my opinion on this, which I'm sure will shock you all, I'm just going to say for Game of the Year, it was really sweet of them to give the other 5 games recognition by even giving them a nomination. That was so nice of them to do that when the best game that's ever been made in the entire history of our planet Earth is on that list. So I can't wait for them to announce Tears of the Kingdom. It's going to be a really fun night.
How long has this been out? Has Nintendo ever won Game of the Year?
I want to, if they did, it would have been like, possibly. Let me look that up. I don't know.
That's right. Putting you on the spot. That's what I do. The intern strikes again. Like I could have easily looked this up on mute, but no. I'm like, all right, host.
You're putting me on there.
Let's put the host on the spot.
This started in 2014. It didn't get big until more recently, but 2014 was Dragon Age Inquisition. 2015 was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. 2016 was Overwatch. 2017 was Breath of the Wild.
It sure was.
2018 was the God of War reboot. This is when I would have started watching these, was in 2018, because I remember God of War winning. 2019 was Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
Oh, yeah.
2020 was Last of Us Part 2. 2021 was It Takes Two.
What?
Wow, what a bad year for video games if that's what took first.
Was that like when the pandemic happened? I can't remember. Everything's
it must have been, yeah. And then last year Elden Ring received first place. So this year we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll definitely be watching. I have some predictions going in my own Discord. I know that or that people can put in the predictions for like a cool little prize or something. Whoever gets the most predictions right and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I'm going to be watching it live. I always enjoy watching these as well as just seeing what general cool announcements come out.
2 games deserve it. I think that's what's cool. Like, if would Baldur's Gate 3, a game I've never played, but I've watched enough of to know it's polished and good and fun. Like, if that wins, I'm not going to be mad. Tears of the Kingdom wins. I'm like, all right, that makes sense. If any of those other games win, like, who paid them off? Like, someone paid some money. Because Mario Wonder is great. It's fun. It's original Mario that's not like, New Super Mario Brothers always felt, like, bleached and sterile in a weird way.
Yep.
Except for the Wii U one had one world with, like, the Picasso backgrounds that felt fun and different. Like, and then it looks like they took that response to that one world that people actually liked and made Mario Wonder that, which is just something fresh and different. Mario Wonder is good, but I will say, I think for all of us as Mario Kaizo players, just not hard enough. Like, you're giving me traditional levels, baby, and none of us play traditional levels on our. None of us go into Mario Maker and hit the normal button, and we just played an entire game of normal with some cool mechanics. But like, I would love to see those mechanics in the hands of those makers that we have. But it is cool to see people speedrun the game because those fast boots with the bubbles, there's some fancy footwork going on there. So I am excited for GDQ to bust out the Mario Wonder speedrun.
Yeah.
That is going to be fun. It's just the problem is those cutscenes and that slow down. But that's with a crowd always helps, like the hype and donations. So, I'm excited for that. But it's good. So Mario Wonder is, I think we're all three shortchanging it. If there's a dark horse winner, I would put Mario Wonder there. It's because it is a really polished, really well done platforming game that's not hard enough for us. And if it wins, I don't think people are going to be mad, specifically older nerds like us. But it is a really good, really for what they were going for, they crushed it. And they nailed it. Right, and it is a brand new, super fun Mario game for babies.
Yeah. Like, there's, I think all these games, I can understand why all these are put on here, right? Like, I've heard that, like, Alan Wake 2 is absolutely wild what they put into a video game with that one. And I'm very much going to be playing that one day. Very interested in that one. Spider-Man 2, I know a lot of people really like it. Of course, Resident Evil 4. But I understand all these are in here, but when it comes down to it, there's only 2 games that got such high scores across the board, took over like any live stream. People were playing these 2 categories for a very extended period of time. And like, as high profile as Tears of the Kingdom is, Baldur's Gate is very, very niche, extreme niche.
Yes.
And to come out this big with such a niche category that overtook for so long and is universally liked, like, that is an incredible feat right there.
Pretty cool.
So, what's that?
I said it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it is. So I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, I think the safe vote is Tears of the Kingdom, but it's always fun to see an underdog win.
The correct vote.
What systems do you have, Ashley? Do you have an Xbox or PlayStation?
I have a PS4.
You have a PS4?
I have Xbox 360, but that's
is Baldur's Gate on PS4, by the way, Ponch? I'm just trying to think of like incentives. Like, what do we need to do to force Ashley to play Baldur's Gate 3 Game of the Year edition?
I will not. No interest.
She has a PC that is more than capable of running it. I'll say that.
All right. 1,000 subs. Ashley will play Game of the Year edition Baldur's Gate 3 24-hour stream. You heard it here now.
You got it.
For 1,000 subs, I'll play Mega Man X7 again. Let's go. Burn it to the ground, baby.
That looked rough.
Yeah.
That looked rough.
So much fun.
So that's Game of the Year. That's a cool event coming up here. So be tuning in for that. As I'm sure everybody listening here will be. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably like video games to some extent, and you'll probably be interested to see where all that is going. So definitely pop into our chats on streams, talk about it, pop into our Discord, stuff like that. Chat it up. I'm sure other people will be in there chatting it up as well about that type of stuff. It's been a fun year, guys. Another year of podcasting, from a calendar year, I should say. It's been a calendar year of podcasting, and we were thinking of kind of just closing out the year, keeping it a little casual here. Maybe playing. We talked about it earlier. We're gonna play kind of a little bit of a game here that is hopefully. We know you guys like to watch streamers look dumb, sound dumb, be dumb, because that's the reason we're all on Twitch, baby, is to make fun of the dumb streamer. So we're gonna play a little bit of a game here. Ashley, do you want to maybe kind of explain the game for me and Pops and our viewers here?
Sure. I've only heard of this being called the word game, but I saw this video on Instagram and I sent it to Ponch and I was like, wouldn't this be so funny to do on the podcast? And basically, here's what you do. Two people at the same time, they count to 3. 1, 2, 3, and they say a random word, completely random. And then they keep going. 1, 2, 3, another word. They're trying to find the common denominator between the two words that they're each saying so that they end up saying the same word. So if one person says, yellow, and then the next person that says hot, and then the next one, 1, 2, 3, and they both say sun. The whole point is to try
kissed.
I would have said mustard.
Yes.
It's going to be a good time. I think this is entirely designed to make fun of me, and I am all for it. They had a plan.
We tried a little practice round, me and Ponch, really quick, and it did not go well. So I'm looking forward to this. It's gonna be awesome.
We're gonna see whose minds are most connected here, and
it comes off weird on the call, like because there's a little delay, but like it's gonna be great. We're gonna do awesome.
I'm ready. I'm excited. I am in the minds of Ashley and Poncho the David Taco. I am gonna crush this. But it's weird because I'm going to try to be in your mind, and you're going to try to be in my mind.
Exactly. We have to try. You have to think about yourself and the other person, and be that person.
Oh, this is a dangerous game.
So I think what we'll do, as we had talked about earlier, is we'll do kind of 1 versus 1 essentially, and then we'll kind of circle around a little bit, and pop other people in and out and stuff like that. I mean, we could try. I don't know. Maybe we could try 3 people at once. That'd be kind of.
Oh, that's hilarious.
What would be the odds? No, that's 2. Let's keep it 2. Let's keep it 2. Three starter words that have nothing in common. Trying to find the denominator would be insane. Never mind. Terrible idea.
Wow.
Terrible idea. Let's keep it to 2. All right, I guess we should get into this. I guess we should get into this.
All right.
Who's going first? Is it you and me, Ashley? Is that what we're doing?
Let's go.
Okay. All right, you count. So you're going to say 1, 2, 3, and then we have to say a word.
Right.
Okay. Right.
It might sound a little weird on for our live stream people, but it'll we'll be on a delay at the same time, so we're not going to cheat or anything. So we'll see how we do.
Okay.
Are we ready?
All right. I have my word locked in.
Me too. All right. 1, 2, 3. Zelda.
Rock.
All right. Ready?
Oh, what's the word? There's a word in Zelda I'm looking for. I'm trying to. Okay, I'm gonna have to go with something else. I can't think of the word.
No.
But okay.
All right, I'll say the word. Here we go.
All right, go.
1, 2, 3. Goron.
Rupee.
Ready?
Okay. Okay, we're definitely in the Zelda. Okay. I guess I have something. I don't know. This is horrible.
1, 2, 3. Money.
Mask.
Taking Ponch to a series he did not know about.
I got one. Ready?
Okay, wait. The 2 words are money and mask, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm sending you some brain waves
Me
here.
Too.
We have I hope I have this thing in mind is the correct word.
Oh god, I'm scared because okay, ready?
Yes. I'm going to say what I think this is called.
Oh no, this is already gonna be wrong. All right. Oh no. 1, 2, 3. Happy.
Happy mask salesman.
We both said happy. Does that count?
That counts. It
It's
counts.
one
I mean,
word.
we're thinking
It
the
was
same thing, right? It's the
one
happy
word.
mask
Does that
salesman,
count?
right?
I would have
Does
gone
that
salesman
count?
all day.
We both said
we would have
happy.
got Goron right away. I was going Goron after.
I peeked over at chat. I saw someone say it counts. That counts. That
It
counts, baby.
Okay, it counts. All right, we got it.
We
Let's
did
go.
it. That was what? 4?
I was like, masks and rupees. There's a guy you buy masks from.
Happy Mask
We
Shop.
have to be
Yup.
that guy.
Yup. It's one word, by the way. But yeah, happy was the first word, so that
Okay.
counts.
That's true. I think we should be trying to keep this to one word. I threw 3 words out there.
I believe that was 4.
Because what you
Sure.
went
That
Happy
counts.
mask salesman.
Zelda.
I guess is salesman 1 or 2 words? I don't know.
That's
This is
one.
all semantic. All right,
Yeah,
let's go
4.
to round
Yep,
2.
perfect.
All right.
I say the boys go.
Let's go,
Okay.
Punch.
All right, I got to think of a word here. I just said like 25 words, and that's a lot of words for me. Let me think of a new one. Okay, I have one.
Me too.
All right,
Who's calling the countdown?
I'll count.
All right, sweet.
I'll count. 1, 2, 3.
Sega.
Desk.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay, I have a word.
All right, I do too.
All right, let's see if this works here. 1, 2, 3.
Genesis.
TV. Genesis.
I was going console because what do you put on the desk? The console, but I get where the TV makes sense.
You put a screen.
I get it. I'm
All
riding
right.
the trolley.
Okay.
So, Genesis and TV.
And TV. Okay.
All right.
All right.
I got a good one.
There's only one word. It's only one word that works here. You ready?
I'm going to count this
Wha-
as one word. I'm doing it.
Oh crap! What word am I thinking now?
Oh, no.
Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
RF
Game.
adapter. It connects the Genesis to the TV. I thought we were putting it all together.
that is a connection, I guess. How am I supposed to connect RF adapter to?
We can do this. We can do this, Punch. We're
Okay, I actually maybe
All right.
I have something. I might have something here. This is gonna be
Game and
horrible.
RF adapter. You guys ready?
Yes.
RF adapter. That's like
That's not one word. I don't know if it is.
okay. There's no way we're getting this. I'm going.
I got you, Punch.
Here.
I got you.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Graphics.
Wire.
We're good. We have this. I know where we're at now.
Oh, you
Graphics
got
and
this
wire.
now.
Graphics and wire.
We have this.
Graphics and wire. Where is the connection?
I got you.
All
Trust
right.
me, we're good. This is the most common. We're good. I don't want to give any
You
clues.
got this. You got this.
Okay. I have something.
We're good. We have it. It's done.
1, 2, 3.
HDMI. Oh no! I said HD. It counts, baby.
That
That
counts.
counts. That
If
counts.
ours
That has to
counted,
count.
That counts. That counts.
That counts.
Nicely
Okay,
done.
that's it. Oh,
Nicely
I did
done.
not think you were gonna go there with me to HDMI.
That was good. That was
Oh.
fun.
We had to. We would keep going. We would keep going. It would never end. Poncho, our minds are too beautiful to be in sync.
It makes sense. Graphics are HD. You got to have that cable, that HD cable.
I really thought you were going to say
That's it.
RF switch, man. I was positive you were
Wow.
going in with RF. I saw this
That's fine,
twinkle
not
in your
bad.
eye. 5 with an asterisk. We gave up. We're not getting close.
Yes.
That was
All
good.
right. That leaves Ashley versus Pops.
Pops, you want to count down?
Yeah, sure. We go 1, 2, 3, shoot, right?
Yep.
All right. You ready?
When you're ready. I'm ready.
1, 2, 3. Mario.
Car.
1, 2, 3. Mario Kart.
Cart.
Done.
Cart.
Oh, I said, well, cart.
that
It
count?
counts. It counts. Cart. Yeah, I should have said cart. We're counting it. That's 2, baby.
That was like
that
the
counts?
easiest 2 words to start with.
Easy, baby.
I would have gotten Goron too. I don't know why I went
I know
Sega.
you would have. You said it. You mouthed it. I saw you mouth Goron.
I did. I was so mad. Is Goron rock in Zelda? The people that eat rocks? I know. To be fair, Ponch's defense, he knew exactly what he wanted to say. He just had no idea who those rock people were.
No, honestly, I was thinking of like the word fusion with the rocks because of Tears of the Kingdom.
Never mind.
That was the word I was blinking
off.
on the word fusion. All right. One more round. We're gonna try the 3. We're gonna try the 3.
All right, let's do it.
Whoever, we're gonna see who's the first 2 that can connect a word together.
Oh,
okay?
I like that.
The
Okay.
first 2 that can connect a word.
Okay.
The other person owes us each $100. Okay, ready?
Deal.
Set.
Like Monopoly money, right? You guys have
Oh my
money?
god. No.
All right. We're gonna go 3 people here. So think of a word. We're gonna see which 2 people can find a connection between all 3 words.
Okay.
All right, give me a second. Let me think of something to start with. I'm literally just looking around my office for a word. I can't think of any words.
Lamp.
Okay, I have a word.
Don't use lamp.
Now all I can think about is lamp. All right. You guys ready? I guess I'll count it. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Controllers.
Star.
Mouse control. And what did you say, Ashley?
Star.
Star. A star, a mouse, and a controller. What do those 3 have in mind?
It's impossible.
I got a word.
Oh, I don't know what. Okay, I have something.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I think this. Well, we'll see if this works. I don't know.
I got
We'll see if this works. You guys ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Laser.
Nabbit.
Power up.
Okay, we have Nabbit from Mario. You know that I was thinking because there's a star in Mario, a mouse, a rodent,
I said laser. I was out.
and a controller. All right, we have Nabbit, laser, and I'm sorry, what was it, Ashley?
Power up.
Power up.
It's a
Nabbit.
dash, it's
and
one word.
laser. Oh, jeez. This is hard with 3.
I got something. I don't know if you guys are going to say it too, but I got something.
I'm good.
Okay.
Keep it simple,
Okay.
baby.
Oh, I'll keep it simple. You guys ready?
Ready.
1, 2, 3.
Mushroom.
Wonder.
That
Okay,
we're getting
mushroom,
closer. We're getting closer.
Fire and what was it?
Wonder. What'd you say?
Wonder. Okay.
What'd you say?
Okay, I know.
I know too. We're good, Punch.
It was fire, mushroom, and wonder. We're
We're dead. It's done. It's over.
we play a lot of never mind. Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Elephant.
Mario.
We got Mario.
That's it.
Mario.
We were doing all power ups, and the power up of Mario Wonder is the elephant suit. I'm done. I'm out of the podcast.
He's gone. It's Mario.
Not happy right now. I came back for those
Wow.
listening audience. Power up, a video game involving power ups. For some reason, we go outwards instead of going inward. I thought this was a game about going inwards and targeting in on something, but no, we were already fully entrenched in the Mario universe. We had Nabbit, we had power ups, but no, we go the other direction. You guys are crazy, out of control. I think I lost and I'm sad. GG.
I'll send you my PayPal information, Pops. I'll look for that $100. Okay.
Checks in the mail.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. That was fun. That was a fun segment. That was fun. All right, guys. It's been another episode of Arcade Parlor. We've been here, episode 16. That's wild that we're on episode 16 here. I guess, you know what, let's, as we do with every episode, let's just go around the table one quick time, do a quick promo of anything cool you might be having coming up this month, or anything you want to say before heading out before the end of the year. Ashley, why don't we start with you?
Hello, I'm Ashley Florida. I stream on twitch.tv/Ashley with 2Es_FL. I currently stream Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday nights, and Sundays. I do retro. I'm also on YouTube and Twitter/X, the same name. I'm on TikTok, Ashley_Florida spelled out. Playing a lot of SMW. I'm currently just trying to beat the first level of Grand Pool World 3. It has been incredible. It's very difficult, but it's really fun. All I can say really coming up for me, I just hit 2,000 followers on Twitch last week, which is so cool. My goal for the year was 1,000 and I hit 2,000, which is crazy. So I'm doing a big celebration. December 30th, I'm doing a 20-hour stream for 2,000 follows. That'll start at 9 p.m. on the 30th.
Awesome. Looking forward to all of it. Pops, what about you?
My name is Ashley_Flo. No, it's Cheese Pops. There's more P's than you think. I'm on Twitch. I do have YouTube and TikTok, but they're pretty much dead. But I will keep putting content out there. One of these days, that old algorithms will be like, you know what the people need? Bad Mario play. And that's where you'll find me. Recently, I did a playthrough of Mega Man X7, and it's in my bones now. And I kind of want to play bad games on stream more often. I've been playing Mario Maker 2. It's been a ton of fun. So if you check it out, if you have any terrible game suggestions, let me know. Because specifically with bad voice acting, there was something about playing Mega Man X7 and hearing Burn It to the Ground said 1 million times in 1 second that sparked something in my soul that I am looking forward to keeping going. And I do have a Christmas special coming up. I have no idea what that means, but look for it. You'll find it.
Awesome. You can find me twitch.tv/PanchoTaco or just panchotaco.com. You can find me there. What do I have coming up? I have a just a 12-hour stream coming up on December 15th. It's a Friday. Come hang out. Probably starting about 10 a.m. Eastern is typically what I like to do. So come hang out. We'll be playing a bunch of games that I don't typically play, which I'd like to do on 12 hours is just playing a bunch of stuff that I don't normally do on stream. Otherwise, you can find me working my way through Grand Pool World 3. I'm having a blast with it. I've seen 5 exits so far. 5 of the 41 or whatever. There's a lot of exits. I'm 13 hours in. Having a good time, though. Having a good time. And I do have another cool Metroidvania I'm going to be starting to check out this week on stream a little bit, too. One that just came out. I was sent a copy, so I'm excited to check it out here. With that said, again, this has been episode 16 of Arcade Parlor. We will catch you guys in the new year. Everyone, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday coming up for yourselves. Enjoy it with the friends, family that you have, with the Twitch family you have as well. We'll see you guys in January. Adios. Catch you guys later.
Keep the change, you filthy animals.
Happy holidays. Bye.